This video describes how to do a Harmony 2 project following on from the concepts learned in a previous assignment, Melody Composing with Motives. You'll need that assignment template if you'd like to use that same motive, and you need the blank template that I have prepared. Don't try to start on your own, and then obviously you're watching this video. Okay, the first thing is if you look at your original document, you will, and if you did the original assignment, you'll be familiar with this thing in Finale called the filter, which allows you to copy and paste selected items. This is how we originally did our assignment. So we generated all the motives and the motive variations and developments, diatonic inversion, retrograde inversion, and then we use that as source material to get our melody. For example, the first melodic element here comes from down here, the retrograde inversion. I want to say one quick thing about Finale. Finale is, whenever you're doing this project, there are often updates in Finale and then updates in Mac OS that become incompatible with each other, and you start having problems with crashing and everything until things get equalized again. So that's one thing to watch out for. So if you're having any problems, you should switch back to the Midi sounds and switch to this play Finale through Midi. It won't sound good. It'll sound really cheesy, but at least it will work more smoothly. And then, as you'll see in this video, you can then make it sound way cooler by a quick, simple export into Garageband. It just takes really a few seconds, and then start making it sound good in there. So if you can't get Finale to sound that good, don't worry about it. Just use it for basic checking notes and chord relationships, and then know that it's going to sound better later, as you'll see later in the video. If it is constantly crashing, again, it's probably because you're set on this and you're having some conflict and you need to switch to that setting right there, play Finale through Midi. And we went on from there and we did some diminution and we did some augmentation and we did various other things and different forms of these motives and created our melody, and it's an 8-bar melody. For your assignment, you need to do 16-bar melody, an A section and a B section. So we want to add, we're using this as our starting point, so this is our starting chord progression. If you are watching this and you want to do something different from the previous assignment, you can write a different chord sequence. But based on using this one, and to fulfill the requirements of the project, we need to add a secondary dominant. So we do that, and I will show you the one place we can do that. Right here, we have C, G, A minor. Well, we could target A minor with an E7 instead, so that's what we've done here. And I've changed the melody a little bit to, adapt to the new chord. Okay, once you've found a good place to enter your secondary dominant, change the notes below it, of course, to match that chord. Then create a new second motive, and you can do this again, generating from, come up with an idea, and then you can generate some sequences and developments of it. So I've come up with this motive, and you can see I'm doing it there, and I'm doing a retrograde of it here, and I'm doing another retrograde sequenced here, and then I'm repeating this. I'm doing a sequence of this here, and I'm doing alteration of note direction. Actually, no, I'm just doing a different sequence here. And then here I'm doing some different chromatic notes and in a different order. But you can see that every single one of these motives is related, and it's just slightly modified. And this is partly based on using the theory of it, but also based on using your ear and deciding what is the best way to get your melody to flow. So this is all generated from one motive, and this is all generated from a second motive. And you can simply copy and paste them over and alter them. For example, if I did this, if I'm using the filter, once again, it's under the edit. You just do edit filter. If I just want to copy only notes, I choose only notes. Then I can simply copy here and paste there, and I don't change the chord or anything. So once you've done all that, you add chord symbols to it, and the way you can do that is with the chord symbol tool, and you just simply type a capital letter and then the suffix, whatever it is. And then once you've done all your chord symbols, if you want to put in your analysis, you can do that with the from this template with the expression tool, which is right here. You double click where you want to enter some analysis, like say here, 6 minor. You go to the Roman numerals, find 6 minor, there it is. And so you just say assign, and now it's appeared here, and I can use that for my analysis. Okay, so once you've chosen all your chords, then you've created an ending that sounds intentional and sounds final. Then you do your analysis either in Finale, or you do it later when you print it out, and you do your melody analysis later as well. And then here's chord scale references for the various chords you may use, for modal interchange chords, that is. And then you have this final stage where you can actually export it to make it sound cooler. You can export it and open it up in Garageband. So let's see what it sounds like at this stage. Now our second motive comes in. This chord's not there. Okay, so it's working fine. It's not anywhere close to being sort of fully produced, but it's the core elements are there. So what's a fast way? What's a good, easy way to just produce it a little bit more and make it sound more interesting, and perhaps add some live instruments or live singing? And that is via the Finale's export to Midi function. So you simply go to the File menu, and you go to Export, and you choose Export to Midi. Click on that. It then sends the MIDI file to your desktop or wherever you told it to go. And then you open up Garageband. I'll do a new one. And you can choose whichever template you want, depending on what instruments, kinds of things you're going to be adding. You can always change things later. So I now have a blank project. There's my MIDI file. I drag it over here, and it will ask me if I want to import tempo information. I would say don't do that, because you want to have flexibility with your tempo. You might want to change it, so you say no. And then it comes in. There you are. Those are the tracks that came in from Finale. Now you'll notice that it assigned everything to piano, so then you have to start assigning your sounds. So you say, just for now, let's make this melody. I'm just going to make it be a vintage electric piano. I'm going to also make the chords, maybe also vintage electric piano. And then down here, this is meant to be bass. So I click on this, I go to bass, and I'm just going to choose fingerstyle bass. And sometimes the bass comes in an octave too low, so you may have to check on that. If that's the case, you're going to have to go in and transpose that. You can look up how to do that. And then now it's time to arrange it. So you listen to what it sounds like so far. I'll get rid of this. So you decide you want it to sound a bit more interesting than that. Double a track, like you could say, all right, let's do new track with duplicate settings of this, okay, and then we can change that to say strings. Let's turn that into a string ensemble, and then I simply take my harmony and I copy it by holding down Option drag, and now I have strings. And then I can of course mix that. And now I need some drums. So for drums, I recommend that you go to the loops. This is just the quick and easy way to do it. You can of course program your own thing. Go to the loops, and there are a series of actual drummer like styles. You can use any loop you want, but the yellow ones I think are the most flexible. They're already divided into sections of songs. Like, okay, so this particular, they give them names, so this particular drummer is going to be in a particular style. So we could start with, say, a verse. Here's a verse. And if that happens to appeal to you, or maybe one of the other things he's doing, or you could go down and find someone else, another drummer. Here's somebody named Anders, and try the verse there. Right? And you can just keep going until you find a... Okay, so I'm just going to pick that one. And what I do is I just simply drag it over here, and it creates the track for it. You can do all kinds of alterations of it. And then I notice that I have a 4-beat silence here, so I'm lining it up with the beginning there. I could put an intro in there if I want. See, it sounds a lot better than it did in Finale, and it didn't take even 10 minutes to get it there. And then I would probably, the next thing I'd do would be write a funkier bass line that hooks up with the drums better, and then it would be sounding pretty good. Maybe I'd add a little live guitar, and before you know it, you got something that's sounding pretty good. A couple of motives, some relatively simple chords with a little modal interchange and a secondary dominant. Develop it out, create a composition, and then quickly drag it into Garageband and make something cool happen there.